Cover lights on, cameras roll. Time to break the mold. No more silence, every story's gotta be told. Truth in the air, no filter, no disguise. Real talk, real change. We open up your eyes. We got the voices that are changing the game. Fearless, unchained, calling our names. From the struggles to the rise, we expose, we ignite. No topic too deep when you step in the light. We got the answers, spotlight at your truth be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep, breaking the silence. No secrets we keep. From the pain to the power, the lessons we learn. Voices of the people, let the fire burn. Dr. Donna, Dr. Laxley, leading the way, guiding the truth in a world full of gray. Experts, activists, voices untold. Everyday heroes with stories so bold. This is more than a show, it's a movement, a spark, illuminating shadows, bringing light to the dark. We got the voices that are changing, be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep, breaking the silence. No secrets we keep. Step into the spotlight, let your truth be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep, breaking the silence. No secrets we keep. We got the voices, spotlight, let your truth be heard. Unfiltered conversations, every thought, every word. We challenge, we question, we dive in the deep, breaking the silence. No secrets we keep. And if you want the real, then tune in right now. We're breaking down walls, no backing down. One mic, one voice, one mission tonight. Step into the spotlight, let's get it right. Let's get it right. Head to the spotlight. Let's get it right. What do?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Monday evening of In the Spotlight. This is the home of unfiltered conversations, where real talk is what we do. I am none other than Dr. Donna Thompson.
And I'm Dr. Laxley, and together we are your famous favorite moderators.
That's right.
Famous and your favorite. All right, Dr. Donna, what is popping? What is happening?
Oh my gosh, what is not happening? It is another Monday. It's a beautiful Monday evening. The weather was great. I am thankful I am here to be sharing this platform with you this evening. And I'm just looking forward to our conversation this Monday evening. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I didn't get a chance to enjoy that beautiful weather that you described, that you're talking about. But I did get one quick, brief opportunity, one brief moment to go out there with my grandson. And we went for a walk. And he said, and I said to him, "Do you want to go that way?" He said, "No, let's go back that way." He wanted to go home.
Oh,
So unusual, right? But little walk with him was so refreshing, was so good, because I had a busy day. Yesterday we had the growth mindset masterclass. We had that. And how many participants did we have?
I believe we had 14, I
Yes,
believe.
at least. And if you count me and you, we probably had more, right?
Hmm.
We were also participants, right? So that was such an opportunity for us and for the participants, right? To participate and to be a part of the growth mindset blueprint. Because I tell you, Dr. Donna, each time I'm involved with this presentation, I walk away feel empowered, feeling real empowered. I learned something about me, something about growth, something about becoming that person that I tell everyone I want to be. Because I put it out there, I declared, right?
Right.
I'm not keeping it a secret. I'm not holding back. I know where I'm headed, and the whole world should understand and know it as well and hold me accountable. Yeah, so that's what happened.
It was a great session. A little bit different than the first session, the first two sessions, but nevertheless, I think it was really a very positive session. And to your point, like every time we have one of these masterclass sessions, you walk away feeling empowered and learning a little bit more about yourself, and that there's still work to do. So even though you're having the class for everyone else, but you're growing with the people that's there as well.
So if you are engaged in a growth mindset environment, in a learning environment, then you must be growing as well,
Hmm.
right? If you're not growing, something's off. So each time we have this master class, and I don't want to call it a workshop because it's indeed a master class, then me personally, I know I walk away feeling very different in a good way, you know,
Right.
because I'm learning more and more about the importance of building that blueprint. And I think that was highlighted. In fact, someone left the master class and sent you their framework for their blueprint, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I think that was one of the driving forces in the class is, if you don't do anything else, and if they walk away with all the information that they were getting, I think the one thing that really drove home was everyone really needed to complete their blueprint for their life.
And understand this, right? The name of the book is The Growth Mindset Blueprint. The name of the work piece is Living the Growth Mindset Blueprint. The
Hmm.
name of the masterclass is the Growth Mindset Blueprint Masterclass. Blueprint keeps popping up. And at the end of the day, what are you building? You are building that blueprint, that growth mindset blueprint. And we gave them the tools.
Right.
The tools, they have it. And it's 3 words, right? 3 words. I'm not gonna give it away tonight because that's something you gotta pay for. All right. You must pay either with your attendance, your participation, or with money.
Hmm.
Something to get it. There's no such thing as something, or getting something with nothing, or nothing with something, or whatever that's supposed to be, right? So anyway, it's out there. But Donna, that's what happened this weekend. And I tell you, I was a little bit tired but energized.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I walked away from that and I did a little piece, and I'm going to post it tonight about just that. Are you really tired, or what is it that you're experiencing, right? Or are you misaligned?
Mm.
Mm. I'm going to post that. And I encourage anyone. I'm making it's out there on YouTube, and it's doing very well on YouTube, because a lot of times we walk around saying we're burnout, we're tired. But it's not tired we are. We're just misaligned. All right. So big stuff there. It's coming out on Facebook tonight. Catch it. Do something with it. But Dr. Donna, guess what? Tonight is different. There is no guest in the traditional sense, right? Because tonight the story is the guest. How about that? The
All
story is
right.
the mission is the guest. The movement is the guest, right? And guess what? In June 2025, we walk the soil of Kenya. Not as tourists, right? Not as observers, but as listeners, as learners, and as servants. We're servant leaders, right?
Yep.
I know you're writing a piece on servant leadership, and I can't wait for that to come out. So we sat with students who carried dreams larger than their circumstances. We held the hands of elders whose wisdom carried decades of sacrifice. We walked through orphanages where resilience lived quietly behind small smiles, right? And what did we discover? We discovered that purpose is not abstract. Purpose is human. Purpose has faces. Purpose has names. So tonight, Dr. Donna, you and I, we're going to revisit those moments, not as memories, but as mandates. Because guess what? 2026 is not just another trip to Kenya, right? It is one movement, one mission, one Kenya community outreach. So how you feel? Talk to me about that.
Uh, about what's coming up?
About what happened, what I just described.
Oh my gosh. 2025, so many different emotions, feelings, so many different things transpired in that trip 2025. But from that trip, I know that I personally walked away feeling that we made a difference in the small gestures that we did. We did make a difference. And with that, I felt the need to do more there, that we can do more. We can make a bigger impact with our mission or vision. We can definitely change lives in a positive way. So I do feel some sense of responsibility of doing that.
Awesome. You know, you use the word impact, right? And what impacted me most was not their needs, the children, the students, their needs. It was their hunger, and not just hunger for food, it's hunger
Mhm,
for belief.
mhm,
These students, I believe that they're brilliant, they're thoughtful, they're curious, and I'm more than capable. But what I discover in my short visit is that many of them are waiting for someone to look them in the eyes and say, "You are not limited by your location, not because you're born in certain situation.
mhm.
You're not limited. You're more than capable. You're of value. You can do more than people are telling you that you can." So when we spoke to them, I know when I had conversation with the ones that I did about purpose, discipline, and mindset, I believe something in the ones that I had conversation with sort of shifted their posture, changed a bit. And I remember when I was in front of these students and I was telling them that they can become doctors. And I know if you recall when we had that conversation, they can
Mhm.
do this, they can be that. And that they're not just and a number of times they would come up to me and say, "I want to leave and come to America." And I would respond and say, "Why? You have the opportunities here are so great. You know, all you have to do is to tap in." So it was obvious to me that they were asking for direction, they needed direction, and they need more than anything else mentorship. It's almost like they were asking for someone to tell them and to remind them that they too have dreams that are valid, they are of value. So for me, that was that thing that hit me when I went there, you know. And you know what it did for me? It reinforced something. You know, when we first went to Kenya, on the first visit, and we went to the place called Lunga Lunga,
Mhm.
it set the tone, and it really helped me to find and to discover why Kenya was so important in my life. So that one single visit did it for me. And then when I went back, the conversations that we had really shifted the trajectory of who I am of my life. Yep.
Yeah, interacting with the students and just the children on a whole, it really, like you said, the experiences, they're smart children, very, very, very smart children, and so humbling, so kind. They greeted us with with smiles, laughter, entertainment, everything that you could possibly think of. They wanted to share. They wanted to share with us. And because of that, like for myself, it just makes you want to give more and do more and pour more into them so that we can teach them and show them, just like what you said, your current circumstance does not dictate your future outcome.
Yeah.
And that they can do so much with what they have. And it's just, just direction. And because, and like we're saying, like for me, I do feel that sense of responsibility in trying to make sure they're directed in the best path possible for them, because they are the future. We're going to be long dead and gone at some point, but we're looking at our future, and we have to invest in our future, whether it's here, Kenya, wherever. The children are our future. And so it's important to not leave them astray.
I remember standing in front, maybe at least 300 students,
Mm-hmm.
at least 300 students at, I think it was Kesagon Primary School or whatever the school is. And I remember standing there, and the energy was so high. They were pushing and pressing towards us, right? As we were talking, having conversations with them. And when I looked at them, what I saw? Who I saw? I saw myself growing up in Jamaica.
Right.
So I saw me standing there, hoping that someone would reach out to me and whisper in my ears that I have value. I am of value. I too have a purpose, and I can become something that I aspire to become. So that's what I saw. And but then something else happened. We went to orphanages. That was a big piece of what we did. And let's talk about the power of presence and love. What did visiting these orphanages teach you about love, stability, and responsibility?
It taught me that, or showed me that love is a very powerful emotion. And the individuals that we met that were in charge of the orphanages we visited, their compassion, their love, their care, their kindness was so genuine in caring for these children. And it showed me that love, regardless, it does not have to be your family member, it does not have to be your friend, but just human love. You can take that reign up and take care of someone else and show them that, and show them love and show them kindness. Because these individuals that are running these orphanages, they have the bare minimum. I don't even know how they do it, to be honest with you. They have the bare minimum, and they're taking in children who have been abandoned, who have gone through different types of abuse. And they're loving these children and taking care of them like their own, and making sure that they're in a safest possible environment. to make sure that they're okay. So it just, it showed me that regardless of all the stuff that's happening out there as humans, we are still capable of really showing love and care and compassion and being kind to each other. And that's what we ought to do.
That is what we ought to do. I remember going to, well, we went to several.
Hmm.
We went to several. But there was one in particular where we went to when our team members, some of them started to break down, started to cry.
Yeah.
Some said that I'm not coming back to Kenya with you. We
Hmm.
will support you, but I cannot deal with this. I can't live through this. I can't see this type of suffering, right? So for me, visiting these orphanages, it was the most humbling thing. It was humbling in such a way that it's hard to describe. Very
Right.
difficult, right? And
Hmm.
what jumped out at me? These kids, they did not look like they were sad.
Mm-mm.
If they are leaders, they did not lead with what they lacked. They led with joy.
Hmm.
They led with joy because where they're coming from and landing in these orphanages is much better from where they're coming from. And they recognize that. So they smile, they sang, and they welcome us. They greeted us, right?
Yes.
But, beneath their joy, for me, there's a truth. And often it's a quiet truth. And that stability is everything in life.
Correct.
Stability for them, stability for us. And then we learn that these kids and children in general, especially ones who are underserved and who live in underserved communities, they don't just thrive on provision, but it's presence. They
Yes.
need to have people around them come and visit them, talk to
Hmm.
them, and it must be done in a very consistent way. And you know what? Why it's so important? Why we must go back and visit these kids? Because they expect us to come back.
Oh, yeah, they do. They most certainly do.
Back, right? So
Yes.
we are reminded that sometimes the greatest gift that you can offer anyone, especially a child, is not money, but it's memory.
Yes.
I know you walk around with great memories, and we have bad ones as well. So the greatest gift we can offer them is great memories, right? And memory that you care,
Hmm.
right? That you care. The memory that they were seen. Because like I said, I remember growing up in school in Jamaica when and especially in these country areas where I'm from, rural schools where you're not seen anyway, you're forgotten, right?
Right.
Did anyone care? You can
No, it, it's it's you're so right because I was just having a conversation with my mom earlier today, and we're from the country, right, in Jamaica, and she was just expressing some of her experiences
Mhm.
growing up as a child, and some of it was not too far fetched from what we experienced in Kenya last year. Um, so you're 100% correct. The presence of people coming and really showing that they care. Sometimes it's it is so much more powerful and has more impact than just sending things. Sending, not that they don't need the tangible things,
They do.
but the human presence to show that you're valued, we see you, it that has a very profound lasting impact on those children.
And I'm gonna say this, and it might offend some people, but it's okay because I don't mind offending, right? One thing we must understand when we're doing outreach, we must understand that it must be relational. It cannot be transactional.
Hmm.
You can't visit once, then disappear. And too many are doing that.
Correct.
And that's why we say here that a collision with purpose, it is a movement. And if it's a movement, it requires momentum. And you can only have momentum through consistency, through discipline, and by design. That is the only way you can have momentum. So we can put it out there for those who are out there bickering about nonsense when they're supposed to be leading and changing and building and empowering lives. This is what you should be doing. Build relationships with those who really need it and not tear down organizations that can do that because of your ways. That's what you should be doing. So anyway, we got to move it, right? So we also visited the elders, the elderly, right? And when you talk about that, we talk about memory, identity, and generational strength. What did your conversations with the elders teach you about resilience, sacrifice, and inherited strength?
Oh my goodness. It really opened up my eyes to where we're coming from. And the sacrifices the elders had to make for all of us, for us all to have a better life to where we are today. They had to make a lot of sacrifices, give up their dreams for their children. And the one thing that I learned from that experience is, as much as we have to take care of our younger generation, it is also our responsibility to take care of our elders, because they are the backbone of who we are today. Yeah. And oftentimes we see that they're forgotten.
And interacting with the elders is a reminder that resilience, good practice, good habits, good behavior is sometimes inherited.
Mm-hmm.
And who do we inherit them from?
Our elders.
It was very noticeable to me that I didn't hear them complaining.
Mm-mm.
I didn't hear them bickering. It was also obvious that they did not have much in terms of what we have here in the United States, that type of stuff, right? That too many of us place so much emphasis on, right? But there was love, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were caring, right? So, and what really hit me real deep is that, and you said it, we owe as much to the elderly as we do to the students, right? And why is that so? Because, and let's put it this way, students carry potential, right?
Yes.
They're the future. Well, guess what the elderly carry? They carry history.
Yes.
And is our history important?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, it's important. And if we neglect the elders, what are we doing? We disconnect the roots. And can we build and grow without roots, without foundation?
Absolutely not. Your tree's going to wither and die.
There's no future, right? So what Kenya taught me, more than any place I've ever been to, and I've been to a few countries, right? Because I had I don't want to say the privilege. I served in the United States Air Force for almost 10, 12 years, and I traveled all over the place. So I've been to a few places. But what Kenya taught me more than anything else, more than anywhere I've been to, is that generational honor is not optional. It is foundational. And we talked a little bit about that yesterday in our workshop.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a little bit about that, about how we need to build generational honor. Well, we need to have conversations and meetings about growth mindset with our family members, with our friends. And to me, that's what yesterday felt like. It was a community.
Right.
Because we're all friends and we're building. Right? So anyway, let's move. Let me play a video, right? Because we're talking, but we did some stuff. So let's look at some of the things that we did, right? Which one should I play? Let me play this here. And because I want to show you these kids at this school, how they turned out for us. And when we go back to Kenya, this is one school that we must visit and do something because they did for us, right? They did for us. So let me play this. So when I say hundreds of students show up just to see us, to talk to us, and not to get things from us, I want to make that distinction very clear.
Mhm.
They didn't show up to get stuff. They just wanted to touch us, to see us, to talk to us. You know, I remember when we went to visit a governor, and he was saying, you know what was powerful? He said, man, and you guys look like us,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Our entire team,
Yeah.
you guys look like us. That was so powerful for him. And for the students, when we showed up who we are, you know, and we're here to love on them, to give back, and to make a difference, right? So, anyway, powerful stuff there. I just wanted to share that video. So, generational healing is a big thing everywhere you go, right? Huge stuff, right? And that's why we're into this growth mindset thing because it's all about generational healing
Mhm.
in the past and be present and in the future, right? So, what did Kenya teach you about the importance of generational healing and intentional connection?
You know, it really taught me that you have to heal in order to move on to the future.
Mhm.
However, in healing, you do have to be intentional. You do have to be intentional, but it is also important as far as generational to speak about the history, speak about the things that transpired, that took place. Because if you don't know it, potentially you can make the same mistakes or the same things can happen, right?
Mhm.
So it's important to, that's what it taught me at least, that it's important to sit and have these conversations with our elders so that we can gain knowledge and wisdom from our elders so that we can become better stewards in our life so that we don't make the same mistakes. We learn from those things and we know how to heal from whatever they've gone through, because if you don't know the past you don't really know where you're going.
Mhm.
So I found that it's, you know, that's what it taught me, the importance of really having those open conversations with your elders, sitting there and just getting all that wisdom from them, getting all that knowledge from them. You know, you got to ask the question, so why, you know, it's almost like being a child again, right? Even though you may be an adult, but being a child again, you know, come with that curious, you know, that curious mind, you know, why did this happen? Why did that? Because, and you know, what I found is that they're at a point where they're so happy to share. They want to share with you. They want to share. They want to pass that knowledge down. They want to give you that wisdom. But you just got to sit there and have those conversations with them.
Right. So I'm gonna put a I'm gonna frame what you just said, and I'm gonna use the word communal healing is best when it's communal.
Mm-hmm.
And that communal meaning that when elders feel heard, when students are mentored, and when orphans, children feel love. And those were the three segments of people that we dealt with, right? We dealt with. So that's when you begin to repair generational fractures. That's when you really do it. So it's basically what you're saying. So what we saw, there are communities with, we drove through communities, endless pain, right?
Mm-hmm.
Endless pain. You drive forever, on and on and on and on. And this exists everywhere, by the way. But we're talking about Kenya. And because Kenya is much bigger than where we're from, Jamaica, the problems and the challenges are greater, just on numbers alone.
Right.
So we saw that, right? But what we also noticed that we saw teachers were making huge sacrifices. So they're not highly paid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And parents and women and men as well who are really hanging in there, sticking in there. So what really hit me, Dr. Donna, is that outreach is not just about charity. And that's why in Jamaica, we decided that we're not just going to focus on charity when it comes to the children, the students. We're going to go beyond charity and we're going to build capacity. We're going to build bridges, right? And that's why I said outreach is not just about charity. It's about alignment.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about alignment a lot yesterday, right? And what does alignment mean? It's alignment between past wisdom. Those are the elders, people like me, the elders, and present opportunity, right? People are the ones in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Gen Zs, those, and then the kids, future possibility. That's what it's all about. There's got to be alignment between those three groups. The elders, you're not in that category. You're in the middle. I'm the wisdom, the past wisdom.
The past.
The present wisdom and the future, like my grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what we need, alignment. So we need to work. And I'm not just talking about Kenya now, I'm talking every darn place in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm talking about Kenya, right? So anyway, let me see if I can find another video to play. Because this was a good one, by the way. Right here. Let me see if we can play this.
Honorable Leonard was scheduled, booked to be our keynote speaker.
Na Mheshimiwa Lenny alifaa kuwa mzungumzaji spika mashuhuri kule Marekani.
Due to situations beyond his control,
lakini kwa sababu ambazo hazingeweza kuepukika,
he was not able to make it.
Hangeweza kusafiri kufika Marekani.
Now we did rebook him for our next colloquium, our next conference.
Tayari tumeweza kumwekea kongamano linalokuja, hatakuja tena.
So February 21st, 2026, he will be our keynote speaker.
Kwa hivyo mwezi wa Februari mwaka ujao atakuwa spika au mzungumzaji wetu mashuhuri kwenye kongamano hilo.
And this is in Atlanta, Georgia.
Na kongamano hilo litakuwa katika jimbo la Marekani linaloitwa Georgia, katika mji wa Atlanta.
One of the things that we did at our colloquium, at our conference, is that we recognize people who are doing servant leadership work.
Mojawapo ya kitu ambacho huwa tunafanya katika kongamano hilo ni kuwatambua watu ambao wanahudumia watu katika jamii.
People who are making a difference in their community.
Watu ambao wanafanya kunakuwa na tofauti katika jamii.
So also absent at that event was my good friend Elizabeth Sitawa Kisiangani. I called her the celebrity.
Vile katika kongamano hilo tulifaa kuwa na celebu wetu Elizabeth Sitawa Kisiangani.
So today I am honored
na leo kwa heshima
to present the A Collision with Purpose Community Keystone Award.
Anafurahia kuweza kupeana zawadi hii kutoka kwa Collision with Purpose
for bravery,
kwa ujasiri,
to Sitawa Kisiangani.
Kwa Sitawa Kisiangani.
So, we don't just live for us, right?
No, 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 no.
We live for others. And that was the highlight of our visit, one of the many, to Kenya in 2025, was to present to someone of the status, of the caliber, of the relationship that we've built, Elizabeth Satawa Kisiangani, and to the Honorable Leonard Soita Kasaya, right? So that was a big deal. Let's share your thoughts on that.
Yeah, like we said, they were supposed to come here, right? But it just did not happen. But that was important because those are two individuals who they're dedicated to supporting their community and doing the work in their community and not looking for anything in return. They're just serving their community. And that was an opportunity where we got to recognize them and the work that they're doing. And I want to definitely point out, even like for Elizabeth in particular, and her situation with her fighting cancer. And oftentimes, even though she's fighting her illness, but oftentimes she come across other individuals who they're fighting as well, but they need assistance. They may need financial assistance to pay for their insurance or, transportation or whatever. And she'll try to help as well, even though in her need, she will still try to help someone else. She's not being selfish or, she's still wanting to serve. She's still wanting to help where she can. And even with us going there, she sacrificed, it was a big sacrifice for her to come out and be around us and be with us and to even honor us. She honored us herself. And that just shows that these are individuals who they're doing the work in their community and they want the best for their communities and to uplift their communities as well. So, when we have those people, we definitely want to recognize them, and so that we can encourage them to continue doing the work. And we definitely ask for other people to come out and, and jump in and serve your communities as well, because that's the only way you're going to uplift your community. Your community is your family.
It's a communal thing, right? All right. So we didn't go by ourselves, right? So I'm going to play. We brought musicians with us as well.
Yes.
We brought all kinds of talent, right? So here is Mr. Joey West. All right. We were on the Lake Victoria, that huge lake. All right?
Yes. Lake Victoria.
He took care of us right here. Yeah, so Joey played for students, he played for the orphans, he played for the governor, Vega County, and for many students everywhere, right? And in fact, I'm going to play a little bit of what he did. I'm not going to play all of it at the governor's office. So here we are meeting with the governor in his conference room with his staff, with our team, and we're having conversations about, returning to keep, just to pick up on the work. And we found out that he was a true lover of music, and he knew about Joey, and Joey played for him and his team, and it was so well received. All right, so yeah, but guess what? 2026 is coming.
2026 is here.
Here, when I say 2026, I mean 2026 Kenya Community Outreach. And we call it One Movement, One Mission, One Kenya. It is here. So what I want to ask you, but first let me say, why is the 2026 Kenya Community Outreach different from 2025? Why is it different?
Well, for one, 2025 was our first time going as a group, where we took our group and got more exposure than the first time that we went. We were able to really go into the communities, walk the street, go grocery shopping. Just we lived and experienced Kenya. 2025. And so with that, we learned a lot about different needs, different support that's needed. So even though that was an outreach trip, but I think it was also an opportunity, like a learning, right? A learning, time to learn, time to where we went into the community and get to really know the place and experience the country. This time now going back, because of that exposure, this time going back, we're going back with a little bit more focus driven, because now we know exactly what the needs were, what we want to do, what we're going to do. So we're definitely a little bit more focus driven on the initiatives that we're going to do, the areas that we'll be visiting, and the work that we're going to be doing on a whole. And once again, really driving, building capacity, right? Sustainability. Those are the things that we definitely will be driving in this 2026 trip going back.
Absolutely. And let me acknowledge Dr. Apollon Reed. She is watching us, listening to us, and she said, looking forward to the 2026 Kenya Community Outreach. She's coming to Kenya with us. And she is the president of the Jamaican Museum and Cultural Center right here in Atlanta, doing great stuff there. Mm-hmm. And we support her 120%? There's no such thing as 500%. But I want to go over 100, right? All right. So 2025 for me, Dr. Donna, was a collision, right? Like you said, we just crashed into Kenya. But guess what? 2026 is coordination, right? Mm-hmm. Planned, right? We're no longer in the discovery business. We are in the building business, right?
Right.
We have done discover what we need to discover. Now we're building. We understand the terrain. We even planted trees in Maragolian Forest.
Now look here.
There, we went up that mountain and we planted trees. Mm-hmm. And we go back and see how the trees are performing, right? So we own, your name is there, by the way, in Maragolian Forest. Mm-hmm. The entire team, right? So, yeah, we're not just building, we don't just understand the terrain. Emotionally, we have a better understanding, right? And spiritually of the country.
Right.
So no, we're no longer, foreigners, so to speak, right? Mm-hmm. We have better understanding, right? So, and you said it, 2026 is about intentional building, intentional structure. So we'll be more strategic. And then when we deal with situations and look at these children, these students and elders, we're going to be focusing more on deeper mentorship. You know, we were looking at cancer patients. We were at building out our, I know you want to build a school there. So we'll be forging stronger relationships. And that's why we say one movement, one mission, one Kenya outreach. We're not into any fragmented anything. This is not a fragmented effort, a piecemeal effort. It's one unified action. That is a collision with purpose. We call it one movement, one mission, one Kenya. Right? So yes, that's what it is. So I think we both have the same vision. We're both saying it. We just say it a little bit different.
Right.
We say it together. All right. So let's talk a little bit about responsibility. You know, let's move it from experience, which we had our experience, to commitment. What responsibility do we, as members and leaders of the A Collision with Purpose, carry after witnessing the students, the elders, and children in the orphanages?
We have the responsibility of doing our best to make each person life a little bit easier that we've come in contact with. So whether it's mentoring, words of uplifting, whatever the needs may be, but that is a responsibility that we have. Every single person that we come in contact with, we have the responsibility of leaving them with a positive experience and trying to make their life a little bit better.
Wow. And before I say my piece, because we're mirroring each other in so many ways, I want to play something here, because I remember we were at a school in Viega County. It could be Kakamega County. We were at a school and I was talking to the students, but one thing was obvious is a number of them, they were well dressed, but they didn't have shoes on. We saw that, and the team decided, I think it was one member on our team, Yvonne Graham, stepped forward and said, here is all the money you need to buy 90-something pair of shoes. And that's the kind of team we had, right? Talk about being unified, not fractured. And this is what happened.
So on behalf of the team,
thank you very much. Here we shall just walk. Okay, just let's finish up.
So right there, you made a presentation, I think it was 91 pairs. So those children, they were so well dressed, they had uniforms on, but they didn't have shoes on. Isn't that something? Uniforms, no shoes. And I tell you, I can't remember going to school without shoes. So that really touched me. That hit me hard.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So much of it can remind us of, growing up back home, where some children they didn't have shoes, or they may have had just one good pair and they couldn't wear it to school because it may be that they have to wear it to church, or or something of that nature. So they had to go to school without.
And I played that video because of responsibility. And when you're exposed to something, it creates responsibility. And because we are exposed to those kids not wearing shoes, and we did a count, and it was all of those kids in that school that was present that day that didn't have shoes. We made sure they had shoes. And so that's what we're talking about, that exposure creates responsibility. And again, once you're exposed to these kids and you see their brilliance, you cannot pretend that you don't have some responsibility. You got to do something about it, right?
Right.
So, and also, not just the students. People pray deep and hard in Kenya. And once you've heard those prayers, you cannot ignore who they are and their legacy either.
Right.
You have to stand up and step up, right? So, and meeting some of these kids and just touching them, I walk away feeling as if that I received more that I gave.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. I received more. And there were times I could not hold the tears back. I couldn't hold it back. I did a good job hiding it, I thought. You, when you can hold it back, you can't hold the crack in the voice.
The crack in the voice, right?
It's like a time. So responsibility for me means that we must return.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all about consistency. You cannot just go once. It's not transactional. We said it earlier. It's relational, right? So it means that we must build in system that outlive moments. And what we had was moments. We have to get past those moments. We have to build systems. So 2026, Dr. Donna, is not a road trip.
No.
It is not a road trip. If you're coming to Kenya with us, no, it is not a road trip we're going on. It's not a party, it's a commitment. It's a commitment to build, to empower, and to help these students see their way. When you leave Kenya, we expect that you will want to mentor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or sponsor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids.
Right.
The good thing about Kenya, to send a student to primary school doesn't cost a lot.
Mm-mm.
You can send 4 or 5 of them, and it won't dent anything in your pocket. So, like I say, it's a commitment. All right, commitment. So, Dr. Donna, we're drawing down on time. But before I go, can I play one more video before we have our closing talk?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
I want to play because we had music there as well. And if I can only find that video. If I can only, all right, let me see if I can. I'm gonna take one hit at it, and if it's the video, it's the video. If it's not, we keep it moving, right? No, it's not the video. But this was a big deal. This was a big deal.
That was a big deal.
Another highlight was, look at that gentleman there. We were in his office.
Mm-hmm.
That's the professor. That's Professor Pielo Lumumba, my mentor. Right? We reached out to him while we're in Kenya, told him that we're in from Atlanta, Georgia, and elsewhere in the United States, and we would like to have a meeting with him. Before we went, I told the Honorable Leonard Saita Kasawa that if I do one thing in Kenya, I would want to meet this man. Right? Remember I said that? If I do anything else, if I meet him, I'll feel as if I did what I was supposed to do. So anyway, he reached out to him. He said, come on by, come to the office. We loaded the bus, all of us, lots of us, and we went to his office. We had to wait because he's a busy man, right? The world is waiting for him. You know, everybody needs to talk to him. So we loaded the bus, got into the parking lot. We called up. He said, come on up. You, me, and Lenny went upstairs. We sat for almost an hour. Not because he wanted us to sit, because when he finally became free, he said to us, they had me. They had me in the meeting. They kept me. I couldn't get up. And when we walked into his office, the first thing he did was got up out of his chair and gave me his chair to sit in. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
He said, sit here in this chair, in his chair. Right? And then the next thing he did, he went out and he got tea and something to eat for the 3 of us, me, you, and Lenny. He said, and then we said to him, it's not just us, Professor. We have a team, a number of people downstairs. And what did he do? He called to his staff and he said, prepare the conference room.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what he did? He said, prepare the conference room. So we made our presentation to him. We gave him a book or 2, and we gave him our hoodie and a shirt. Well, I think we just gave him a shirt. And he was so appreciative of that. And there we are again, group shot with him. This man is not an ordinary man. One of the kindest person that you can ever meet in life. For someone who's so powerful, you know. So yeah, so what's your experience? What was your experience like meeting this great man?
Oh my gosh. Well, you know, of course, you know, when I could not believe it, right? So I started to sweat. I was so hot. I was like, oh my gosh, this is not happening. This is unreal. um,
Right.
but just meeting him was an honor to meet him, and also so humbling because he's such a humble person. He's such a humble person,
Mhm.
so welcoming, so inviting. And like I could spend hours just being in his presence, just listening to him. Because he just wants to see the best things happen for his people. And I think what really stood out for me, not just meeting him that day, is that he extended an invite and had us in his home. We're strangers. He don't know us from a different land.
And he
Don't
fed
know
us.
us from nowhere.
Well, he fed us nice. The
I
food.
mean, they laid out, spread for us in his home, all of us. And there was no limitations like you have to sit in the courtyard, or we were in his house. And that to me really stood out because it showed the humility that he carries. It really shows the humility that he carries. And I am hoping that when we go back this year, we will have the experience of spending even more time with him, to be honest with you.
You remember he had to travel out of the country, and that is why he
Exactly.
could not travel with us.
Mhm.
But we went to visit his mother as well.
And we
He
we got
wanted us
to
to
meet
see
his
his mother.
mom. Wow.
Yeah, but you know what? I am gonna reach out to him tomorrow, and I'm
Mhm.
gonna let him know we're coming to Kenya, and we will do some kind of work with him.
Yeah.
And we will commit to doing something. Because we went to his the place, his foundation, where they have this
Mhm.
organization, and we did give some nice gifts to that
Right.
school. And so we're gonna go, and that's a must visit. That's a must visit, for to go back and see him, because this man is the man. He's someone
Mhm.
you want to know. We learned so much from him in such a short. And he didn't just got us in there and got us out.
No, he
Probably spent
spent
about
time.
4 hours with him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But 4 hours with PLO. So the
Mhm.
professor is someone special, someone that we will honor because he honored us and he's honoring our people all across the world.
Mhm.
Across the world, right? So great man indeed. All right, so I know I was supposed to do something before I went on to I was looking for something with music that they played for us, but I don't think I can find it. Anyway, so we're running out of time, Dr. Donna. And let me do the closing piece and then you can do your thing, right?
Mhm.
So tonight, I just want to say that we did not tell stories of emotion. We told stories for alignment. We interacted when we went to Kenya in 2025. We interacted with students, and they reminded us that beliefs can be ignited and was ignited, right? We walked away after having this in the presence of these students. We walk away, we ourselves learn and walk away knowing that we can do some good in this world. Not that we did some good, we can do more good.
Mhm.
Saw how the little that we did made such a huge difference in their lives. And that to me was proof of concept that we can do more. We went over there and what we call a collision, but now we're going in a coordinated way, a better way. So we learned that. I learned that. And Kenya reminded us that purpose is not a seasonal thing, it is generational. Right?
Mhm.
And so the orphanages that we visited, they reminded us that presence is powerful, that you must visit these places. Even if you don't have anything to bring yourself.
Mhm.
Makes a huge difference. And and we talk about inheritance, right? You don't just inherit things from the, tangible things. In a resilience can be inherited from the elders. All right. And by the way, I'm one of those elders. So anyway, so as we move toward 2026, we said it, we're moving intentionally. We are moving as one movement, as one mission, and as one Kenya outreach. So if you're coming to Kenya with us, know you're coming with the A Collision with Purpose team. One movement, no fracture. It's one. And not because one movement, one mission, and one Kenya community outreach might sound something powerful. We're doing that because it is necessary. We know when we're united, when we go as one, we are more powerful. And when we're more powerful, we have more results.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're watching tonight and you feel inspired, if you feel stirred, if you're motivated, do not ignore what we're saying. Understand that movements are built by those who respond. So you must respond, not to us, but respond to a need out there. Respond to a student, to an elder, to someone who is in need of some support, some love. And with that, let me pass it back to you, Dr. Donna.
Thank you, Dr. Stephenson. So, yes, Kenya 2026 is definitely on the horizon. And, we ask for your support. If you're listening to us out there this evening, we ask for your support. Just connect with us, and we let you know how you definitely can help to be a part of the movement at A Collision with Purpose here. We do thank you for joining us this Monday evening. You will be hearing more about our trip moving forward. We will continue to speak about it. We will give updates, and so that we can share our journey with you as well. Even if you may not be able to join us, but we can share with you so you can be a part of our growth and our outreach throughout Kenya and the work that we're trying to do. Because sometimes, you don't necessarily have to be physically there, but your support in other ways, we definitely appreciate that. It is the beginning of the week, so definitely do have a wonderful remainder of the week. Be safe out there in your travels and everything that you're doing. And we're going to charge you here at A Collision with Purpose to go out there and do an act of kindness for a particular individual. Let's make it not a family member or a friend, even though you should already be kind to your family members and your friends. So I'm charging that you're doing that. But let's go ahead and just, continue to spread kindness and love to people that we don't know, and let kindness and love become infectious. We can change cultures by just, one act at a time, but we can definitely spread that. So without further ado, have a wonderful remainder of the week.
So before we go, I'm going to play Joy West again, Many Rivers to Cross, that powerful song by the great Jimmy Cliff.
All right.
God bless his soul. All right.
Lights on, cameras roll, time to break the mold. No more silence, every story's gotta be told. Truth in the air, no filter, no disguise. Real talk, real change, we open up your eyes. We got the voices that are changing the game. Fearless, unchained, calling our names. From the struggles to the rise, we expose, we ignite. No topic too deep when you step in the light. We got the